Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Lost Phoenix Gaming, the home of tips, tricks, guides, and tunes of Forza Horizon. And it's that time of week again. Seasonal changeover, and that means another look at the Backstage pass and the seasonal shop. Last week, I asked you which car you wanted me to vote for, the Hummer Open Top or the Mosler MT900S. Two cars which are pretty easy to get and are not overly expensive. The votes came in, and it turns out you wanted me to vote for the Hummer Open Top, 69% to 31%, which, out of the two cars, is probably for the best. It's probably the wisest decision, given how easily the Mosler is to obtain and how cheap it is to obtain. And it turns out that 51% of the Forza community agreed. 51%. That was close. We almost ended up with a 200,000 credit car in the Backstage area. So 51% voted for the Hummer, 49% voted for the Mosler, which means that the Hummer is now in the Backstage area if you want it, although it's only about $1 million on auction, so weigh that up against the value of one of your Backstage passes. This is what's replaced it. The Jeep Wrangler DD or the Chevy Chevelle 67. These are the two cars, Jeep Wrangler Delberti design or the Corvette Chevelle 67. Both reasonable cars, plenty of Jeeps around in my experience, not so many on the Chevelle side, but I'll go in and I'll have a look at this. And this is what I'll be asking for your opinions on, for your votes on. Which one do you want me to vote for? Which one do you want to see in the Backstage area next week at the beginning of the spring season? So let's go in, shall we? And let's have a look at these cars on the auction house. First up, I'll have a look for the Chevelle 67, easy enough to find. And there is none. Okay, right, there is none. Let's have another look. There's none up there. That's disappointing. Let's have a look next at the Jeep. Let's have a look at the Jeep, the DD edition, the Wrangler, Delberti designs. And, okay, there's plenty of them. There's quite a few around here. There's about 7 or 8 there, all sitting around 1.3 million, 1.4 million buyouts. So yeah, there's a few of those around, and depending on how his vote goes, I suspect it's going to go more popular. Although I'm interested to see what you can shift one of these Chevelles for. I'm having a look. These are my cars out of my garage. Let's see what I can list one for. I'm not going to list it. I just want to see the price. I've got the Chevelle Super Sport. This is it, 1967. Untuned, unmodified, 1.4 million credits, which puts it in line with the Jeep on a price point, although admittedly it's much harder to find. Let's have a look, see if anybody's loaded any auctions up for that. And no, there's no auctions. Let's have a check again. No, there's nothing. So definitely the most rare out of the two. The shop, right. The Rimac Concept 2, 600 Forza points, which we were made aware of yesterday because the official social media accounts did put a tweet out saying that it will be in the shop and asking for people to put pictures up for their Wallpaper Wednesday. The other car is the Chevy Napalm Nova, the Hoonigan, 350 Forza points, backspring emote, and the Funeral March car horn. You've got the wheel spin, the super wheel spin, which isn't really worth it so much. But the Rimac is actually a really good car. And last time I looked, it was selling for around 6 million. The Hoonigan Nova is a good car. There's so many of these I've seen on Ranked and stuff like this. It absolutely decimates everything when you tune it up. But the thing is, they're very easy to get and they're pretty cheap last time I looked. So what I'll do is I'll go in like I did with the backstage area and have a look at each of these cars on the auction house and have a look at the pricing as of Thursday evening. So let's cut over to the auction house, search cars. Let's have a look for first. Let's have a look at the Hoonie, shall we? Go Hoonigan, let's scroll through. We're looking for the Napalm Nova. There you go, Hoonigan Nova, confirm. Let's have a look. 262,000, 262, 346, 262. Yeah, this is cheap. This is so seriously cheap. It might be because, well, this is a cheap car anyway. But the fact that it's in the store does mean that the auction house is going to get flooded. So let's have a look. If it's in the auto show, and it isn't. Right, I wasn't sure if it was, but it's not. It is actually an off auto show car. But it's definitely plentiful and will be for the next few weeks. Definitely a low price. Let's have a look at Rimac. The Concept 2. Few of them up. 6.5 million, 6.5, 6.5. Even if you end up selling them for like 4 or 5 million, that's still a decent profit. And I do think it's worth the investment if you're looking to flip cars. So, yeah, out of those two, I would definitely say the Rimac Concept's the keeper. You know, it's the one you get. Either keep it yourself or you sell it. You know, it's not one which I would feel bad about spending my Forza points on. Whereas the Hoonigan, as good as it is, I don't think it's worth that many Forza points given the price on the auction house. It really isn't. The Rimac, definitely a good investment in my opinion. The Chevy Nova, buy it off auction. The wheel spins, don't touch them because they're just beds to rip off. You just don't want them. The back spring and the horn, if you need them, get them. If you don't, you don't, you know. So that's for shop. But what I'm going to be asking, and I have put a poll up already, and I will put a link in the description, is which car do you want to see in the backstage area next week? Do you want the Jeep Wrangler Delberti design, or do you want the Chevelle 67? That's the question. So drop a vote on that. Drop me a comment. Tell me. I've had a few people already say I'm picking a Jeep for this reason, or I'm picking a Chevelle for that reason, and it's all valid. It's all good. My personal opinion on this, if you know, I'm not trying to influence, but this is my personal opinion, is that if you're looking as a car collector for a rare car, which is quite difficult to get, I would definitely say go for a Chevelle, because it's one which a lot of people don't have in their collection because it doesn't show up very often. As you can see on the auctions here, I couldn't find one. The Jeep is plentiful and it isn't overly expensive, although it is a more practical car. So if you're looking for a car as a collector to build up your garage and trying to pick up every car in the game, the Chevelle, hands down, definitely, no problem, right? It's quite hard to get and it'll definitely be a benefit to the backstage area. If you're looking for a practical car, one which you can actually use in quite a few events, in a lot of the championships and the seasonal, the Jeep is actually the better option. It really is. However, that's the dilemma. Do you go for the collectible car, the rare car, the one which you probably won't make a lot of money on unless you're a legendary creator, which at that point you can make a lot of money on anything? Or do you go for the practical Jeep? That's the question. Let me know. Cast your vote. Leave me a comment. I'm interested to know this stuff. Drop a vote, leave me a comment, and until next time, thank you for watching. Take it easy and happy driving.